What is everybody? Welcome back to the Prize Picks Prop Show here, bringing you some NBA plays here on this Thursday, January 26th. I got 4 plays for you guys today, so hopefully we can get some more winners on the board. Before we get started, if you're a new user, you can see the code over here. Use code FTN at PrizePicks. Get yourself a 100% match up to $100. Don't want to miss out on that if you haven't cashed in on that yet. I mean, it's a free $100, so do not want to miss out on that one there. But like I mentioned, got 4 NBA plays for you guys today. Let me know who you guys are taking in your PrizePicks plays here at the bottom in the comment section below. Curious to see where some of the plays are being taken over on PrizePicks. And yeah, as always, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell over on YouTube. Helps us out a ton and helps you guys stay up to date with the next videos that are coming out. We're doing a lot of PrizePicks content, and we plan to continue doing that. So let's get into the picks. So, like I said, I got 4 of them. We're going to start with someone who has been, pretty hot as of late, and that's going to be Kyrie Irving here, taking his over on his points plus his rebounds. That line's set at 34.5 currently. It's a number that I like quite a bit here. Obviously, when you look at these combined numbers for guys with points plus assists or rebounds, whatever it is, I often like to take these numbers on guys where I like the rebounding prop or the assist prop, whatever it may be, but they also have immense scoring upside. For example, in my model tonight, I have Kyrie Irving for 34 points. Like that's a monster projection for Kyrie, no doubt about that. But when you look at everything, I have him playing about 36 to 38 minutes. Obviously, he's going to have a ton of usage with no Kevin Durant. Obviously, it's a great matchup here against Detroit. And considering how good he's been as of late, the model spits out 34 points alone. Now, that is a very high projection, and I think it's important to know that. So that's why I like to consider these other lines as well. But also, I have him for over 5 rebounds tonight, actually nearly 6 rebounds on the board. So again, really high numbers for Kyrie in terms of projection. But his line set at 29.5, so Vegas has him implied to score 30, with it being minus 125. So I don't think my model is that crazy in terms of where we have it, but when you look at the matchup, Detroit ranks 29th in points allowed, 29th in field goal percentage allowed, 19th in three-point percentage allowed, and 26th in free throws allowed. So a lot of really good numbers here for Kyrie in this matchup. And also, they're the worst defense in guarding opposing guards in terms of scoring opportunities. So really good spot here for Kyrie matchup-wise. So he projects really well. I guess the one thing we could be somewhat concerned about is if this game gets out of hand and they blow Detroit out. But the thing is, with the roster that we currently have for this Nets team, if there is a blowout, it's likely going to be in some part due to Kyrie Irving having a big game. So even if there's a blowout, it's likely we're seeing a Kyrie Irving big game in general. So really weak Detroit team. Obviously, we talked about that. And then with no Kevin Durant and potentially no Seth Curry as well, who's questionable with the knee injury or knee soreness, I should say. That's even going to open up more shots there for Kyrie. So over his last 5 games, he's averaging 32.5 points. He scored 38 points against Detroit earlier in the season. So again, really good matchup. All things pointing to up for here for Kyrie Irving. But pick number 2, Cam Johnson over 24.5 fantasy points. Cam Johnson has been somewhat limited minutes wise in terms of where we've seen him producing, but that's mainly because he's coming back from an injury. And also last game, he was somewhat limited minutes wise because it was just a weird game where at times they were blowing the Hornets out. They had a 30-point lead in the second quarter. They ended up closing the first half, I think, up by less than 10. So we got some regular run there in the second half. And then towards the end of the third quarter, they started to blow the Hornets out again. So sort of a spot where they just didn't necessarily need to run him out there for a ton of minutes. Now, I don't think we'll see him mid-30s minutes anytime soon, but I have him for 26 to 28 minutes tonight. I think that's a pretty solid projection. Not a great matchup here against Dallas, who they play quite slow, but in terms of a guy like Cam Johnson, he doesn't necessarily need to just rack up points in order to cash in on fantasy points, right? I mean, obviously he can fill it up pretty quickly. We saw him in his first 8 minutes on the floor last night or last game. He scored 16 real points, so he can do that. But in terms of his capabilities of kind of filling up the stat sheet, pretty solid there. I am projected for 18 points, 5 rebounds, 3 threes, and also getting on the board with 1 steal and block there. So plenty of ways for Cam Johnson to get some fantasy points here. I think this line is just a little bit too low. I have him around 27.5 fantasy points tonight. So that's going to be pick number 2, Cam Johnson over 24.5 fantasy score. Reminder, that is FanDuel scoring. So, you get 3 points for blocks and steals. You do lose 1 point for turnovers, but that should sort of play into the kind of favor the strengths that Cam Johnson has there. So pick number 3, let's go back to that Brooklyn and Detroit game. Let's look at Bojan Bogdanovic and his 3-point line. PrizePicks set it at 2. I think that's a pretty low number. In terms of where we're seeing it on the betting markets, it is at 2.5, so I understand it. But again, it's just half a point too low, in my opinion. It should probably be at 3. I would probably think. He had 3 against this Brooklyn team last time I saw him. He's averaging 3 in his last 10, averaging nearly 3.5 in his last 5 games. Last game against Milwaukee, he had 6. Just a few games ago against Minnesota, he had 5. So he has those 5+ 3-point ceiling games in his range of outcomes pretty substantially. And you take into the account that this Detroit team obviously missing, Cade Cunningham is going to be done for the year. Obviously, Marvin Bagley, who had a decent usage rate when he was on the floor. So he's going to continue to lead this offense in terms of usage rate. So Bojan Bogdanovic should continue to be able to shoot as much as he really wants here. So I'm going to take the over here on the 2 3-pointers made. Let me see where my model has him projected at real quick. In terms of 3-point projection for Bojan Bogdanovic, right around 3. So again, I like this number here, especially considering the line at PrizePicks is at 2. So that's pick number 3. Let's get on to pick number 4. It's going to be Mr. Bob Williams, Time Lord himself, who missed last game. So he's going to be, feeling with a little bit fresher legs here, returning to the lineup against the Knicks. I have him for over 8 rebounds. We should see him on the floor pretty consistently tonight with the matchup here against the Knicks. We're going to be dealing with lots of big men like Julius Randle, Jericho Sims, Isaiah Hartenstein. No Mitch Robinson, which is going to make this team a little bit smaller, but still they're going to run out tons of big men at all times. They'll even have Obi Toppin out there for a handful of minutes. So they're going to need Williams' size, that's for sure. My model has him projected for about 9.5 rebounds tonight, so I like the edge on the projection there. And also the matchup, right? Just, again, working his way into more time. That's sort of going to be the issue there with Williams. I know that when he's on the floor, he's a pretty significant producer, but it just comes down to the minutes that he's going to get. He's averaging over 8.8 rebounds in his last 5 games, so right around that 9 mark. But he went under this number in the last 2. He finished with 8 last game against Miami, 4 in the game against Toronto where he saw limited minutes, and in the 3 games prior to that, 9+, including 2 games of 11 or more rebounds. So he's got that 11+ rebound upside in his range of outcomes as well. So we like this number here for Robert Williams, over 8 rebounds. So those are my 4 picks for you guys there. Again, let me know who you guys are taking your picks on over on PrizePicks in the comments below. Curious where you guys are headed. And as always, we want to thank you guys for your support on these videos. And if you're looking for more PrizePicks content, head over to ftndaily.com. We have tons of free PrizePick tools, including our new PrizePicks Edge tool that is basically free and updating nonstop 24/7. And I can actually pull that up right now for you guys. Actually, essentially what this tool does, it takes our projections here at FTN, compares them to the PrizePick lines, and spits out a win percentage that tells you how often we project that played at win, essentially. So let me pull that up real quick. So yeah, right here, this is our PrizePick Edge tool. Like I said, it updates constantly throughout the day, gives you a percentage of how often a pick is expected to win based on our projections. So highly recommend using that tool as much as you possibly can. And then obviously we have the pick tracker, which is free, where that covers several different sports every single day with all of our different analysts providing picks. So those are going to be the free PrizePicks content that we want you guys to take advantage of. And again, if you're a new user over there, use that code that you can see on the side of the screen. Get a 100% match up to $100 with promo code FTN. But that is going to do it for me. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time. See you tomorrow for some NFL. We have the championship weekend picks that we'll have tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you guys next time. And as always, good luck, everybody.